As long as the earth remains, it's going to get cold, it's going to get hot. How many of y'all love winters? How many of y'all love winter? Yeah. All right, yeah, y'all love winter. Look, it doesn't matter how much you love winter and how much you hate summer. You can pray against summer all you want, but guess what? In 6 weeks, summer is coming. Y'all have, well, summer's in 6 weeks? It is here. Not for the rest of America, but here it's going to get hot in about 6 weeks, right? Right? Yeah, maybe tomorrow. You don't know, right? It changes. I was like, wow, it's something like shorts and a T-shirt out there. And I walk out this morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's freezing, it's cold. So it could be tomorrow. Who knows, right? You could stay in this church binding the spirit of darkness all day long. But guess what? This evening, it's going to get dark, right? Those things are constant, right? Cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night, those three things are constant, and there is nothing you can do about those things. 3 out of the 4 constants in this world you have no control over. But guess what? There is one that you do have control over, and that is the law of sowing and reaping. And it's amazing to me how many people will complain about things that they have no control over and then do absolutely nothing about the one thing they do have control over. You get to determine the size of your harvest and what you experience by the seeds you sow. But instead, many people ignore that. Instead, sit around and they complain about the economy. They criticize politicians. They grumble about how unfair their life has been. They moan over their mistreatment, and they do nothing about the one thing that they have control over. It amazes to me how many people look at their life, hate their harvest, and then do nothing to change it. Right? They just keep doing the same thing, sowing the same seed, expecting a different harvest. But if you sow the same seed, guess what? You're going to get the same harvest. But if you change your seed, you can create and reap a new harvest. It doesn't matter what hand life has dealt you. It doesn't matter what circumstances you went through this last year. You can create the future that you desire through the law of sowing and reaping. So stop focusing on circumstances you can't control. Stop blaming all of your problems on other people. Stop attributing your lot in life to the devil or even God for that matter, and start sowing into the future that you want to create. Now, typically you hear about the law of sowing and reaping from a negative perspective, right? You know, what goes around comes around. You know, one day they're going to reap what they sow, right? It's always negative. And there is a negative aspect to this principle, but there's also a positive one that I've never heard anybody talk about. And that is, if you make the right choices and sow the right seeds, you can reap a harvest of righteousness and blessing in your life. And that's what I want to focus on in this series, is how to sow better seed to create a better future. Because what you experience tomorrow will be the result of the seeds you sow today. The seeds you sow determine how far you'll go. So where do you want your life to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? If you want it to be exactly the same, keep doing the same thing. But if you want your life to change the seed that you're sowing. And many people say, man, I'm ready. I want things to be different. I'm just waiting on God. And I found that most people who are waiting on God are still waiting on God 10 years later. You know why? Because God is not in control of your harvest. You are. God's not in control. You are in control of your harvest. And so you can change what you're experiencing by changing your seed, which means that you don't have to wait for a breakthrough. We're believing for breakthrough, but guess what? You don't have to wait for breakthrough for your life to change. You don't have to hold on for your miracle or tarry for God to turn it around in order to experience change. You can experience change right now by changing the seed that you're sowing. Because for every need that you have in your life, there is a seed that will bring about that harvest. People say, I don't have any friends. Well, Proverbs says that a man who has friends must first himself be friendly. So if you sow the seed of friendship, guess what? You'll reap friends. People come up to me all the time. They say, Josh, can you pray for me, man? We're broke. Financially, it's just a mess. We need money. Pray for me. And of course, I pray for them because I'm not a jerk, but prayer is not the seed for financial increase. You can pray for money all you want, but prayer is not the seed that's going to bring about a financial harvest in your life, right? There is a seed, right, that you can sow that'll bring about every need that you have in your life, but you have to first identify what that seed is and then strategically sow it into your life so that you can create the specific harvest you want to receive in your life. Right? Confession is the seed for mercy. Forgiveness is the seed for freedom. Knowledge is the seed for change. There is a seed for every need you have in your life. And God has provided you with the seed for your need. All right? You might not have what you need, but you are never without the seed that will produce it. You might not have what you need, but you are never without the seed that will bring about that harvest in your life.